Internet! Welcome back to Mutton Chop Gaming. I'm the Mutton Chop Gamer, and today we're continuing the Breaking In the PS4 Marathon with LittleBigPlanet 3. Now, I've gone on record and I've said that I like the LittleBigPlanet series, but strangely, with this new one, it seems to either have a lot of disappointment or just be off the map entirely. I thought at least the PlayStation fanboys would have said it was great, because I thought LittleBigPlanet was supposed to be like PlayStation's big kid-friendly mascot. So what happened? Is it really as mediocre as everyone implies it to be? Let's take a look and find out, I guess.
The main subject of Stephen Fry's monologue this time is being creative with friends.
What a cracker!
Now that's just racist.
I gathered up a few hobos so we could all play the game together as per Stephen Fry's orders. They ended up drinking up all of my Diet Coke and taking a whiz in the kitchen sink, so already focusing on multiplayer alone, in a game that was as much about that as it was about single player in the past, already seems to have taken a hit. But after I kicked them out and got people that seemed to understand the concept of playing a video game, it was decently enjoyable. The intro level was then interrupted by Mutton, a guy wearing purple and has an airship. Just like another villain on a PS4 exclusive game that was meant to be family friendly! I really hope this doesn't become a trend this generation. Newton tells you of a prophecy that someone will release the 3 titans that will feast on all creativity and bring about the end of Bunkum. Bunkum appears to exist in an alternate universe from Craftworld, given the machine Newton uses, but honestly, that felt rather unnecessary. I mean, you're already on a LittleBigPlanet. What was stopping you from using your pod to travel to a different planet entirely? Anyhow, he tricks you into thinking Nana Pud is the one who will release them. You defeat her, and it turns out she was his mother! Dun dun dun! Unnecessary plot twist at the start of a game! And she tells Newton that he shouldn't release them, but he does anyway to obtain ultimate creative power! And he immediately begins traveling Bunkum, taking all the creativity for himself. Nana Put tells you that to save Bunkum, you will need to find the 3 heroes who defeated the Titans in ancient times. Oddsock, Toggle, and Swoop. This sets you off on your adventure through the lands of Bunkum. Honestly, the story isn't that awesome. The previous game had you literally fighting the negative emotions that damper creativity.
The Negativatron!
With each character harboring one of these emotions that makes them weaker. But here, the most interesting thing is the character of Newton. He was the son of Captain Put, a master creator. As a result, he had so much pressure on him to live up to his father's name. He flunked out of the Puppet Academy, though. As a result, you can see that he only wanted to be able to create as well as his father could. He saw an opportunity in the creative power the Titans had previously devoured, and went for it, not thinking that they could overwhelm him. There could have been a great opportunity for Oddsock, Toggle, and Swoop to have personality to make things interesting. But because the designers wanted you to play as them, they're left as blank slates as well, making it so the most personality any playable character shows when they interact with Newton is either a happy face when he does something good, or an angry face whenever Newton does something bad or if they fail at something. That's not personality, that's just morality. Designers, morality is not personality. A personality is when someone's morality is put to the test, resulting in action. I mean, look at, say, Psychonauts. Tim Schafer created profiles on social media for every character to better focus on each character's personalities, including their morals, their quirks, and personal history reasons that shaped them. Those are personalities. Besides Newton, no NPCs have any personality outside of a single trait. Yes, there are some that want you to help them, but what do you really learn about any of them? LittleBigPlanet 2 had the proud Avalon becoming humble and Larry da Vinci forgiving him. LittleBigPlanet 3 has Nana Pud being a 2-dimensional mother character. LittleBigPlanet 2 had Clive Hanforth overcoming his depression, going so far as to attempt to court Eve Silva Paragorica. LittleBigPlanet 3 had a carbon copy of the Queen of Hearts that gets angry about the heart of creativity being eaten. These new guys just have no depth. I mean, a small part of me enjoys them, especially papier-mâché, but they're mainly just people that tell you where to go and what to do while tossing in bits of the one thing that differentiates them from anyone else, be it movie lingo or a death threat. Maybe they could have been more fleshed out if the game was longer, but as it is, they just feel shallow. The cutscenes also don't help much with the multiplayer. For the most part, the costumes of Sackboy and the heroes are based only on player 1, making my friends feel left out. Yes, I do have friends. Shut up.
The gang's all here.
Although it is a little funny to wear the Newton costume and have evil Newton talking to you. But I've harped on the story long enough. Visually, this is the best LittleBigPlanet to date in my never-so-humble opinion. The colors pop out a little more, and the attention to detail is better cared for on the PlayStation 4. Though the art style has remained constant, it works, especially for the new characters they introduce. Musically speaking, there isn't a lot of new original music, but songs they selected for the soundtrack are fitting for the levels you play. Sound effects are also matched well, immersing you into the world put together by the denizens of Bunkum. Or by the designers, because the designers created the denizens of Bunkum. All of this said, it's only slightly better than LittleBigPlanet 2 because of the detail rendered by the PS4. Because that game also had a lot of this same good stuff. Gameplay has also remained more or less the same. 2D levels with 3 different levels of depth to go down where the goal is to get to the end of the levels. Some levels do vary, like take down a boss or survive with a certain number of copies of yourself. When did I start playing Super Mario 3D World? Somewhere you build a car, but levels are very similar. My main wish for the styles of the game is that I wanted there to be one more world after you free all the heroes of Bunkum, allowing you to use their individual powers and switch between them all. But that's only done in one level. There's no levels where you have to figure out which hero would be best by switching in between them on the fly. And it would have been nice to go back to previous levels with these heroes to find new ways to play. I mean, you have to play most of the game to unlock them. Going back with all these characters would have been a nice bonus and would have added replayability. Like I said, there's only that one level in the game where all 4 player characters are used, but they don't blend them together. And it's a shame because the unique powers of each hero would have allowed for some decent puzzle platforming. Oddsock speed and wall jumping ability. Toggle's ability to change size and weight. Swoop's ability to fly and carry objects all could have been mixed together with Sackboy's new Sack Poppet items to make for a challenging world that would have let the game feel more complete when compared with the previous game. Now, the Sack Poppet is something that is actually really cool and I really like it. As you play the game, you unlock gadgets to put in the pocket that range from an air pump, rocket boots, flashlights, and more. I just wish we had gotten the gadgets that were in LittleBigPlanet 2 as well. I miss the grapple hook. Of course, creation is still a major part of the game, with costumes and parts abounding to dress up your sack person, create your levels, and to decorate your pod. One main issue I have is either a problem with the LittleBigPlanet 3 computers or the PlayStation Network computers. I should have a bunch of DLC costumes because I already had them in LittleBigPlanet 2. But for some reason, they won't transfer onto the PS4 with the same account. And then, of course, I can't download the Nightmare Before Christmas costumes I paid for. They're unavailable to download, even though I bought them through the LittleBigPlanet 3 store. Purchases work through the PSN store, but not through the game store, and I still can't download them into LittleBigPlanet 3 no matter what! I wanna be the Oogie Boogie Man, dang it! I wanna be the meanest guy around! If I found out who screwed up this, they'd better flee town! I've never had this problem with LittleBigPlanet 2, of course. After I bought the pack in LittleBigPlanet 3, I was able to download it into that game, but not the one I actually bought it in! I should also probably mention a few glitches. Firstly, in cutscenes, costumes keep changing. I don't know how or why, but it does. Secondly, I've fallen through the world a few times. Now, I don't have it recorded, but believe me, I've actually been on the bottom layer of the world with no way to get back up on the platforming areas, so I had to kill myself. Thirdly, I present to you the amazing Flying Yeti! It's clear the game has its faults, but I think my biggest problem is the multiplayer. See, I played by myself for a while and I had a grand old time, but if you recall, the game wanted me to play with friends. As a result, I gathered some around the picture box. The problem? The levels weren't built very well for multiple people. Especially the boss levels or levels that involve speed. You keep killing people by running off the screen, and you run out of lives very quickly because it respawns you over immediate death. It seems they don't multiply the number of lives you have based on the number of people playing. The game is also difficult to play with others because players tend to keep the same basic silhouette. So in the heat of the moment, it makes it hard to tell the difference between your character and that of another player. I ended up wearing the goofiest costumes there were just to know who I was in the game, rather than make an avatar about myself, which Sackboy is supposed to be. When a game wants you to have fun with a bunch of other people, but is more enjoyable the fewer people you have with you, something has gone horribly wrong.
Look, the game's just disappointing. It's getting a C-, because compared to its last iteration, it just isn't that good. You might get back up to a C instead of a C- if they let me download the costume pack I bought, but as it stands, just stick with your PlayStation 3 and play LittleBigPlanet 2. It's the better game. Alright, that's it, and I'll see you all next week when we finish breaking in the PS4 Marathon.